You either win with us or you watch us win.
Hello.
Hey, Stephanie, how's it going?
All right.
All right. So, uh, I gave you a little project to work on, right?
Yes.
And so I said, like, hey, let's talk about it on the live stream, so you can like walk us through um, some of the stuff that you did. But before we do that, right, I just wanted to ask you a couple of questions so they can know, like, you're just not like a AI bot that I created, and I'm talking to an AI bot, right? So let me see.
Yep.
Right. So how did we meet?
Yeah. So I had actually reached out to you on Reddit. I was really struggling to get any interviews at all. I had submitted several applications, and I knew it was my resume. Um, so I was looking for just some guidance. And you kindly responded. It took me some courage to finally reach out, but I'm so glad I did. You were like, toss me your resume, I'll take a peek at it. And I think once I got your feedback, my exact words were like, okay, you're awesome, let's do this.
All right. And then from like since we've been working together, right? Is it
Yep.
what you expected, more than you expected, or less than you expected?
It's been incredible. It's been a lot more. I literally have full access to pretty much like what you said earlier, full access to your brain. Whether it's you reaching out to me with ideas or me, like I said, in the chat earlier, I had, a couple interviews today, and literally throughout the day, I was reaching out, asking you your thoughts on things as I was kind of gathering ideas to bring up, and you gave me ideas to bring up. And so it's really been incredible.
Right. Last question before we get into your code review, right? Um,
Yep.
what has been the most valuable part of me working with you?
I've noticed a change in myself. I've gotten a lot more confident since you and I started working together. Uh, I think it's really been uh, impacting my mindset a lot more than, definitely the technical skills are there. You're helping me with that. But it's been a whole change in my mindset. And again, I mean, I have something to show for it. Today was crazy with, talking to, interviews and all of that. So.
Awesome. I am so happy to hear that. And I love working with you.
Ditto.
All right. So let's get to work, right? So enough sentimental stuff. Let's get to work, all right?
You either win with us or you watch us win.
Chief, mate, what do you want to do tonight?
The same thing we do every night, Pinky. Try to take over the world.
You might think that getting into the IT field is impossible without a computer science degree, but Tech Coach Ralph is here to prove you wrong. Get ready for some jaw-dropping revelations on how to break into this lucrative industry. Listen up, tech enthusiasts! Are you ready to break through into the IT field, but feel like you need a computer science degree to make it happen? Think again! Tech Coach Ralph has some exclusive, mind-blowing secrets to share with you. Get ready to be blown away by his jaw-dropping revelations on how to break into the tech industry without a computer science degree. So get your notepad ready, because Tech Coach Ralph is going to change your life forever. Buckle up, because you're about to embark on a journey to success in the IT field.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. How is everyone doing tonight? We are here for a Q&A session, and I am Tech Coach Ralph. Let me put this up. Boom, right there. Join the Patreon. We have amazing things going on in there. Yesterday, was it yesterday? Yeah, it was yesterday. I posted all of my, a link to my Google Drive that has all of my templates that I've been using for the slides. I'm going to add some other QA related templates, all that cool stuff, right? So sign up for the Patreon, and whichever tier you sign up for, there's different benefits. Shout out to Stephanie. You heard her in the intro when we had our call last week. And she had 3 interviews in one day last week. This week we're on Tuesday, and they keep piling on. We can't prepare fast enough for all these interviews coming in. We've been working at it all week, preparing for these interviews, but it's like every day a new request, a new request, a new request. Remember what she said in her video, right? For months she was applying, and no interview requests, no feedback, no reach outs, nothing. Now, after about almost 2 months working together, they just can't stop coming in. Now there might be a bidding war. So let's stop talking. Let's start working. All right. All these people, oh, I've been doing this. I've been doing that. Oh, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? Everybody has the same exact resume. Oh, I'm a quality minded. I write test cases really well. Okay, like anybody who does a boot camp, anybody who takes a course, of course you're gonna write. Like that's your job. Like you're not impressing anybody by saying, "Oh, I write test cases really well." Right? It's what you're supposed to do. That's the expectation. But how are you making them say wow when they read your resume? Right? Anyways, I'm not giving any more resume feedback on this show, because every single week I'm talking about your resumes, and every single week you guys send me the same exact resumes. In the Patreon, I am updating my resume. I do it from how it was earlier this year to how it is as of last week. So if you wanna level up your resume, join the Patreon. At the lowest tier, you'll get that. And you'll have a link to my resume, because if you want to take my resume and modify it with what you've done, see how I worded it, all that good stuff, sign up for the Patreon. Let's put it like this, all right? Let's do it like this. We're going to put it right here. Become a tech barbarian. Join the Tech Coach Ralph Patreon. Stop complaining. Start doing something about it. At the lowest tier, I give you so much value at the lowest tier. Check it out. Anyways, that's enough of that. All right. So tonight, Q&A session. We got our questions. We're going to go through our agenda, some announcements to make, and then we're going to get to work. All right. So we're going to get to work on our questions for tonight, answering all of the questions we have lined up. All right. So let's get into it. All right. So we have, first things first, as usual, shout out to all of the latest subscribers. You guys are absolutely amazing. Let me check something real quick. Let me see how this thing is gonna look. Oh. Well, one second. Let me try. I gotta try something real quick. Let me see, because we are gonna do it live. Let's see. I don't think that's gonna work. I don't think that's gonna work. Okay, well, it is what it is. We will figure it out when the time comes. Coming soon. Coming soon. All right, so let's get back into our agenda. So,
I mean, you know, all we do is win, man. You know that.
all right. So shout out to the newest subscribers. Shout out to the newest Patreon members. Shout out to the newest barbarians. All right. Now let's get into our live show schedule. We have Sunday afternoons, software explorations. We are working on DevOps, specifically Terraform. So we had our first Terraform session this past Sunday. It went really well. I learned a lot. Like I tell you, there's one thing about sitting in a class, doing a course, right? Like listening to what's going on, writing notes and everything like that. But once you get your hands on it, it is a totally different ballgame. And I am so happy I did it. This coming weekend, this coming Sunday, we are going to go towards setting up the provider like in AWS. So we're going to create our IAM user for Terraform, and we're going to go from there. Right. So tune in on Sunday for Terraform if you are interested in DevOps. As we saw the salary range for DevOps, it is pretty nice, pretty lucrative. All right, and sky is the limit. You can do so much with that. All right, so Sunday afternoons, software explorations. Right now we're focused on Terraform. Tuesday nights, tonight it is Q&A sessions. And Thursday nights, we have software explorations. This Thursday night, we are going to do a special throwback software exploration. So what happened is remember I told you somebody from Taiwan reached out to me saying that they were trying to follow the Selenium wire stream and they were having some issues. They were using a Airflow, I believe was the Docker base image. So we are going to try to explore that, see what we can get with Airflow. I've never used Airflow before, but there's a first time for everything. So we are going to go and we're going to use Airflow. We're going to try to get Selenium wire to work with Airflow. Just moving some browsers around. That's all. All right. And then we are also going to give it a try where we are going to use, we're going to try to do database testing, MySQL load tests, right? We're going to try to use JMeter. Unfortunately, we're going back to JMeter, right? Because somebody left me a comment and they said that they were trying to use MySQL and JMeter and they were having some issues, and I never did MySQL and JMeter either, but barely did JMeter. But hey, if that's what they asked for, that's what we're going to try. Hopefully Don will be around because I am sure he is an expert in MySQL and JMeter because Don absolutely loves JMeter, as we saw last week. All right. So, and Don also worked on the JMeter No More. What did he call it? Whatever it was called. It was like, it was Deuce's JMeter, right? So he also enhanced that a little bit. We will be debuting that coming next week, or not coming next week, coming on Thursday. We're going to debut JMeter No More. Or no, JMeter Deuces Part 2 with a new enhanced name. All right, so look out for that. That is this Thursday in our software explorations show. So one more time, we have Sunday afternoons, software explorations. Terraform is the current topic. Tuesday nights, Q&A sessions. Thursday nights, software explorations. This Thursday night, it's going to be a Back to the Future themed because we are going back into some old software that we worked on. All right, now our pre-recorded show schedule. We have Mondays, Candid Conversations. Was yesterday's Candid Conversation amazing or what? I'm becoming my favorite content creator. Look at that. So Mondays, Candid Conversations. Wednesdays, Software Explorations, Concept Overviews. Tomorrow, we are going to be going over security testing. All right. And Fridays, the Bug Bite. on this Friday, we are going to be talking about Legos. All right. So that is our pre-recorded. And then throughout the week, we are clipping up our Q&A sessions, this show right here, so you can get it in bite-sized digestible pieces. All right. So that is the plan. That is our show schedule. That's our live show and our pre-recorded show schedule. All right, what is next on our amazing agenda? We have, yes, of course. Have you liked the video yet? Have you shared it with anybody yet? I know you subscribe to the channel and you've hit the notification bell so you can know when Tech Coach Ralph goes live, providing you consistent, amazing information. All right. So I know you've already done it. And if you've already subscribed, put a message in the chat. I'd love to hear from you. I feed off your energy. I love answering your questions. So go ahead and put a message in the chat and I will definitely respond to you. All right. Okay. And here is I don't know if I should say this yet, but I'm going to say it anyways, right? Watch out for Chaos Camp Barbarian Nights coming soon. You've heard it here first, all right? Chaos Camp Barbarian Nights coming soon. All right? We'll see. So now we are... All right, we're about to get to our questions, all right? Like I said, any question in the chat gets top priority. If we're in the middle of a question, right after that question is done, we will go straight to the chat and address your questions there. Okay? So. Let's get started. Show format. It's going to be 5 minutes. All right, let's put our timer up on the clock. Okay, 5 minutes are up. And I will read the question and then I will start the clock, give my answer, give my perspective. Okay? But first, as usual,
please offer me your energy. I ask of you, please.
I mean, you know, all we do is win, man. You know that.
I wonder if you guys heard that. I might have played earlier. I don't know. Let me fix. So it's kind of working. Might have to do some modifications to it, but you know. Let's see, where is it? I want to go to here. Oh, wait 1 second here. Let's see. Let's try that again.
I mean, you know, all we do is win, man. You know that.
Okay. You guys know that? Because that is all that we do here is win.
I mean, you know, all we do is win, man. You know that.
All right. Anyways, thank you, DJ Khaled. All right. So we are going to our first question. All right. Let's do it. Let me pull up the questions. And we are off.
Another one.
So, like I said, if you haven't done so yet, subscribe to the channel, like the video, share it with somebody who will find it useful, hit the notification bell so you can know every time we go live, and level up your career in tech. Join the Patreon. The link is pinned to the top of the chat. All right, so this one says, why do recruiters do this? All right. Why do recruiters inquire about your current salary, and why do numerous companies keep the salary range undisclosed for their job openings? It often seems like you're expected to reveal everything, yet they withhold compensation details until the final stages of the interview process. This process is undeniably unjust. Some recruiters may defend the practice of asking for current salary and keeping salary ranges undisclosed, arguing that it allows for flexibility and tailoring offers to candidates' qualifications and market conditions. They might also believe it helps streamline the initial screening process. I strongly believe this is unreasonable and lacks logic. Transparency should be a two-way street right from the beginning, just as you expect it from me. All right, let's start our clock. Well, I guess we're starting off with a good one, right? So, when I'm browsing through LinkedIn and Reddit and wherever people complain about not being able to land a job, right? It seems that you are in the position of needing the recruiter and that company to actually interview you. And so it seems like you're the one who is in need. So one thing that really irks me is when I see people on these social job boards complaining about, why do companies act like this? Why do recruiters act like this? Why do they not call you back? Okay, the calling back part, like if you go through an interview process and they said that they would let you know, it would be nice if they did let you know. But I am under no expectation or requirement because I'm one person interviewing for this position at this company. They might have a list of people who are there trying to recruit, or they're trying to interview and vet out to see, and God knows how many resumes that they're getting, right? So the point is, right, you're in a position where you're in need, and now you're trying to make demands like, oh, transparency, two-way street. Wait, look, the person who holds the ball in their court, they make the decisions on how they are going to move, right? So you're talking about why aren't they going to disclose the salary, because that might be internal company information. And what's stopping you from asking, like, as soon as the recruiter reaches out to you and say, okay, what is the salary range for this position? I always do that, and they always tell me. What's stopping you from asking? It doesn't have to be at the last stage. At the last stage, they might decide what is the compensation based on how you interviewed. Because what if they told you, like, this is the salary range, right, at the beginning, and then you interviewed really well, and then they wanted to offer you more, but since you were already content with that lower salary range, they just offer you that. It's still a business at the end of the day. So, but you can definitely ask. Nothing's stopping you from asking. I've always asked, like, because if the salary range is way below what I'm looking for, then I'm not even going to go through with the interview process. So nothing's stopping you from asking. And if you don't want to share what you're making or what you were making or whatever, then, I mean, you can definitely do that. But you just have to play by the rules of the game that you're in. You got to play by the rules of the game that you're playing, you know? And you didn't make the rules. You're not in the position to make the rules. If you don't really need a job, but you want one, then you can handle it however you want. But if you're in need, then you're going to have to play by the person who's setting the rules, by their rules. So if they want to know your compensation, they want to know whatever it is they're asking you for, it's up to you whether you share it or not. Right? I'll give you a quick example. Like, I always go back to jiu-jitsu, right? It's it relates to life so much. There's sports jiu-jitsu competitions, right, where there are rules and you have access to the rules, and so you can know what you're getting into. And one of the first things that I did when I decided to start competing was I read the rules. I actually watched a video on YouTube that went through the rules, but same thing. And then in competition, you'll see people like make mistakes based on not knowing the rules. Are there some rules that I'm not crazy about? Sure. But am I in the position to go to the federation and say, hey, these rules they don't make sense. You should change your rules. Or I can just not compete in their competitions if I didn't like their rules, if I couldn't abide by the rules. So your reasoning doesn't really matter. Your reasoning doesn't really matter. Because if they say, all right, this is what we need to know, and you don't want to tell us, next. To the left. Like, I don't see how the process is unjust. And even if it was, nobody's forcing you to play in that process. Maybe your need is forcing you to play in that process, but nobody's forcing you. It's business. It's work, right? It's if you it's better like this. If you get your skills so strong that you can get any company to conform to your needs, like if you're just that great, like there's certain employees who can do that, right? They can demand such things. And then there's the everyday common employee who has to play by the rules that are set. Become great, and maybe you don't have to worry about this. So that's that. That's how I see it. I don't see it as unjust. I don't see it as a problem. I see it as the game that we decided to sign up for. That's the rules you have to play by. All right. All right. Let's go to our second question. Put the questions right here. All right, cool. Let's do it like that. All right, so next question.
Another one.
All right, if you haven't done so yet, subscribe to the channel, like the video, share the video, hit the notification bell so you can know every time we go live. All right, so this question goes, how stressful is a job in QA? I'm thinking about moving into QA as it seems to be a low stress but interesting role for okay money. Can anyone tell me if I'm greatly mistaken on the amount of stress and pressure involved? I understand there will be pressure to get some urgent testing completed within short time frames, but other than that, the way I see a typical day, this is the way that they see a typical day. Morning stand-up. Check any automation tests from the previous night and write up defects, schedule rerun. Meetings. Refinements. Refine, update, or create new tests. Waiting for work to come in for testing. Do work. Go to 3. Seems pretty low stress to me, but I need the truth from those in the role. So the routine is, just about all right. But sorry, it's the clock, right? The routine is pretty much all right. But so many, I'll say this, right? For me in particular, QA is not stressful, right? But I'm also a different breed, right? I have people like 40 to 60 pounds heavier than me trying to kill me every day. So can't really compare me in that part, right? I'll be up all night trying to figure out something within the code, within some DevOps type stuff. I go live 3 to 4 times a week, drop new videos every single day, right? So stress, right? But for humans, right? I'm gonna say that it is a pretty stressful job because you're talking about waiting for stories to come in to test, right? But like I said before, the ratio is usually 3 to 5 devs for 1 QA. So now you need to write test cases for the 3 to 5 devs, right? And then you need to be ready to test it once their implementation is done. Be able to make sure you thoroughly test it to catch any potential defects. Send that back. Once they send it back, you need to test it as well. What if all the devs get done with their work around the same time? In your list, I didn't see anything about writing automated tests. So are you only going for manual testing? So now, if you're only going for manual testing, once a change is made, how much regression testing do you have to do? Where are you going to find a manual testing job? Where? A pretty low stress. And you know what? Like, these are the type of people that I won't coach. I can't work with that. Because that's not the winning mindset.
I mean, all we do is win, man. You know that.
It's not the winning mindset. I want my barbarians to be elite, to be hungry, so that let's say one of my barbarians do end up landing a manual QA job. Is that the end of the road? No, that's when we actually start to work. That's when we actually start to work. I have a whole plan for my team that goes way beyond what they're studying right now. What they're studying right now is just entry level. Entry level for me. Like, to work with me, that's entry level. Right? And they're studying some hard stuff. Learning Python, learning QA automation, learning data engineering, learning machine learning. And that's just entry level. Because what I plan for them to do, whatever that position that they're going for, right? Once they get in there, they're going to skyrocket to the top. They're going to be winning Employee of the Month, Employee of the Year. They're going to be adding so much value, getting recognized, getting promoted, straight to the top. They're going straight to the top. My team does not mess around. And that type of mindset, right? This is the type of mindset that they're going to be, when they get laid off, they're going to be complaining that they can't get a job and that, this mindset right here is the first question's mindset as well. The entitled mindset. Oh, I want something easy, and the role is okay. It's okay money, but okay money only lasts for so long. It only lasts for so long. And with that mindset, it will be a high stressful position because it's not the winning mindset. From what I've seen, those who desire and push themselves to be great where it looks like they would be stressed out, like they would be in high stressful situations, it's easy for them. It's not a big deal. So, yep. To answer your question, for you, it's definitely a stressful job because it can be. But it's just what type of mindset do you have? It is what it is. All right. Let's get to our next one.
Another one.
So, level up your career in tech, join the Patreon, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you can know when we go live. Like the video, share the video, right? It's amazing information, okay? So, the question is, the headline is, reliability of automated testing, all right? So, it goes, I would be curious about your opinion. I have heard from developers, not testers, that automation frameworks such as Selenium, Cypress, etc., they are unreliable, often mistaken, and it regularly happens that the same test passes 9 out of 10 times, and then it fails for the 10th time. What is your experience with this? Are they really unreliable? If they are, to what extent do they give valid values? All right, so that is a great question, a very valid question. So let's put it like this. If you were in, if you're in school, right? Say college, and you got a 90 on a test or in a class, right? So that's like out of 100 points, you get 90. Would you say that your knowledge of the course is unreliable? Nine out of 10 times? That's unreliable? Give me a break here. I mean, if that's what the developers are saying, right? That the automation frameworks are unreliable, right? So would you tell me that the amount of bugs I find in your code, does that make you unreliable? Because if the test pass more than I find bugs, right? Or if I find more bugs than I have test failures for being flaky. See, but I don't think so. I don't think that makes a developer's code unreliable. So the idea, like the example, like, are there sometimes tests that fail because like maybe timing issues and stuff like that? Yes, of course. Right? But to consider them unreliable when the value that they bring of someone not having to go through it every single day, the amount of money that it saves by somebody not having to go through it every single day. I'll take the unreliability. It doesn't follow reason, it doesn't follow logic, right? You have a mechanism that can run countless amount of tests, taking away human capital so humans can go and focus on more important things that are not robotic, right? Like just doing the same thing over and over and over again. See, and what I would like to know is, what is the alternative? Because everybody knows that like browsers take longer to load sometimes. Like there's so many conditions that can happen that a test might flake out on you. Then you might have to refine it, readjust it, refactor it, whatever the case may be, right? But because you might have, even if it was 8 out of 10 times, you have a failure, it doesn't make it unreliable. It doesn't follow reason, right? What is my experience with automation testing, right? For the past 12 years, they've benefited us more than they've hurt us. I just about saved the entire company running automation tests. They're about to be done. They're still around today. Were there some tests that failed when they should have passed? Of course. But that's expected. But imagine going through 1,400 sites 3 to 4 times a day. What human can do that? But they're unreliable. So what's the purpose? So let's do the math real quick, right? Where's my calculator? So let's do 1,400 sites per day, or 1,400 sites for 3 times a day. That makes 4,200 times, let's say, 20 days in a working month, right? That's 84,000 times hitting the site in one working month. Who's going to do that? I think that humans are more unreliable than automated testing frameworks. Because what you program your testing framework to see, it might flake out on you, but it's not going to tell you that something passed when it didn't pass if you have programmed it correctly. But when you have humans going through it, then they can see something incorrectly. They can not catch onto something. You know, so many things that can happen with human error. They might click the wrong spot, see something different, go off down a rabbit hole. But the automated tests do exactly what you ask it to do. So that's that. All right. So we are getting into our next one.
Another one.
Are you looking to level up your career in tech? Check out the Tech Coach Ralph Patreon. The link is pinned to the top of the chat. All right. So as well, subscribe to the channel, interact with me in the chat. If you drop a message in the chat, I will answer it as soon as we're done with this question. And like the video, subscribe to the channel, share the video with anybody who will find it useful. All right, so this topic says, any tips on regaining confidence and motivation back? So long story short, many layoffs and a rough last year has kind of got me drained. I'm in a much better spot now, but I've recently gotten a QA job offer and I would like to hit the ground running. I have 2 weeks open and I would like to work on my confidence and motivation. I definitely plan on decompressing and I've started reading You Are a Badass by Jen Sincero. The job entails a little of automation, so I also plan on catching up with that as well as maybe public speaking skills. Any other pointers out there? Thanks in advance. So what would I say to that? Right? You need to first and foremost, right? Toughen up, right? You should be happy that you got a job after a rough year, you know, and if you land in a position, where's your confidence and your motivation? Where did it go? Right? You know, to me, the best way that I get more and more confident and that I get more, I don't really believe in motivation. But I think motivation is just something that people use to try to get amped up for a particular moment in time, but it doesn't really last long. But let's go with confidence, right? The way that I normally continue to build my confidence, because if you ask the people who work with me, who know me, who play basketball with me, there is never a shot that I didn't think that I couldn't make, right? Every time I shoot, I think it's going in, right? So with that being said, anything that I ever approach, I know that I'm going to complete it. I know that it's going to be done. That's my confidence level, right? It's through the roof, right? Sometimes I don't know how I can get my head through the door over there. Neither here nor there. The point is, right? The reason that I'm able to continuously build my confidence is because I work on projects all the time, working on different projects. If I put my hands on it, I know it's going to turn to gold, right? The people that I'm working with, like the progress that I see that they make on an every single day basis. When I say everyday basis, it's like I could even say on an hourly basis, the progress that I see that they make, right? It's massive. But I know my work ethic, and like I said, creating clones, right? I'm creating clones. And I see the way that I work, I push it onto them. And if they don't like it, then they can get replaced with somebody who does, who doesn't care. Right? Because if you come to me, that means that you want to win. And if you want to win, then that's what we're going to do. But if not, then you can go somewhere else. You can go with question number 2 and look for a low stress job where you can kick your feet back and then eventually get cut. And then they bring one of my people to do the job of 3, So you tell me. Now, I would say to build your confidence, just do some projects, see things work on some automation, right? Work on some database stuff. Work on some challenges, right? Check out Chaos Camp. We have tons of challenges up there. If you saw the Sunday show, I was doing the MP3 extraction challenge. Then I finished it up this Sunday. Got pretty far. I didn't even like the most I looked for was what tool, like outside of the show, what tool can I use to extract like the audio metadata, right? But I had never I barely even read the README during the show or prior to the show. I just saw extract MP3 metadata. I'm like, all right, cool, figure it out. And I went on the show and I started to explore. And the more curious you are, the more you explore, the more your confidence is gonna the more things you understand, the more confident you're gonna become, because then you can start applying it. Terraform. Never touched it before. Well, actually, I touched it very. I added 2 lines to a code at work one time. All right, but never touched it before, and I'm just going through it right now, and I'm loving it. But that's a confidence booster. Whenever you learn something new, that builds your confidence, right? And then teach it to somebody. I have my barbarians. They teach what they're learning to the other barbarians, right? Complex stuff. But that's the purpose. Like I'm building, while I'm building their skill based, they're knowledge based, they're like, getting them educated for the fields that they want, whether they're learning Python, whether they're learning Java, whether they're learning QA, whether they're learning data engineering, whatever the case may be. But the confidence that gets built by them going out, presenting it on camera to their other fellow barbarians, that's huge. Right? That's huge. They keep their head down, they work. They come to the presentation day and they show what they've been learning. Complex stuff. Like, who understands data engineering? Who understands Java? Who understands Python? Who can take a challenge written by my man Don, right? And for the first time looking at it, go on a live stream in front of everybody who's watching, right? And then just start working, trying to figure it out, getting further and further along. I think to me, that was a win because like I got in a pretty good state. My mind was turning, That's how I build my confidence. I do stuff. I mean, some people can find confidence reading about somebody else's life, reading about a book that they wrote. Cool. To me, a book is a resource. That's all it is to me, is a resource. Like some of my favorite books. David Goggins, Can't Hurt Me. Tim Grover, Winning. Jocko, Extreme Ownership. But those books gave me knowledge, not motivation, not confidence, not inspiration, none of that stuff. Confidence comes from me doing, not seeing somebody else do, because that's their confidence. That's not my confidence. When I see my teammates win in competition, that doesn't do anything for my confidence. That's their confidence. I'm happy for them. I'm cheering them on, but that's not my confidence. It's when I get my hand raised. That's my confidence. When I know the work that I've put in for the past 6 months, cutting weight, eating a particular way, training every single day against people, some of them twice my size. So, you tell me? But to me, that's the only way to build confidence. It's not by somebody telling you some nice words, by telling you that you're great or anything like that. The people that I work with, when they do something great, I'll tell them, you're amazing, you're doing good. But I hope that's not making them confident. Because if that is, I got to go talk to them right now. Right? That's not supposed to make them confident. What's supposed to make them confident is them doing the work and being able to present it. You know it when you're able to teach it. Right? So, like I said, do the work. That's the only thing. Do the work. All right? All right.
Another one.
So check out the Patreon. Patreon.com/TechCoachRalph. It is pinned to the top of the chat and it is in the description. All right. Next up, if you haven't done so yet, subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell so you can know when we go live. Like the video, share the video. All right. So this topic says, I hate writing test cases. I have been doing QA for around 13 long years. I am very good at what I do, and I am currently a QA lead. Okay. However, I noticed that since like 2 years ago, I got into agile teams and I no longer document my test cases. I just go about testing acceptance criteria and I do it on the fly. I do a little checklist to guide me through my test, but I just don't have the inspiration nor the patience to go into Jira or say Ado and document my test cases in any different folders. When speaking about test cases to my team, I explained that I would only document the regression test cases since these are the test cases I would run again. And since we're on an agile team, I sort of negotiated that early in the project that I will only focus on documenting regression test cases. They were okay with it. So my question to you guys is, anybody else on the same boat as me? I keep it very light and sometimes maybe explain how I tested a specific user story if I feel I should document in the comments of the story. But other than that, I'm just not documenting like I used to do a while back.
I hate it here. I want to go home.
This is crazy. This is absolutely insane. So you're telling me that, and this whole 13-year thing, I don't know, but that's got to be the most selfish perspective that I've ever heard. So when I document test cases and test scenarios and test plans and all that, I don't do it necessarily for me, right? It trust me, it helps me tremendously because if I have to come back to it after 2 days, I need that test plan. I need those test cases so I can remember what I did, right? But to add to that, it's more important for me to document for the team, to document for any QA testers that might be added onto the team, that I don't have to like hold their hand and teach them everything all over again. And there's going to be new QA testers. Like I'm sure you've had new QA people in your 13 years as a QA, your 13 years and currently a QA lead. Might be time to pack it up. You know? And for a product owner and a scrum master to agree to this, for the developers to agree to this, for your QA manager to agree to this, although the QA manager might not be on the agile team, but like writing test cases goes beyond agile. It goes with being a valid and adequate QA engineer, QA tester, QA analyst, whatever the title is, right? You should be documenting how to test the functionality. Of course, there's going to be regression tests, but there needs to be tests specific to the application that you're building. I remember two times that how documenting our test cases pretty much saved us. One was a lawsuit where we had to submit the test cases and the test run results to the lawyers every week or every 2 weeks, something to that extent, generating reports and all that type of stuff, right? If we didn't have the test cases documented, we would have been screwed. But we did. And we sent that every single time. Like the when I was telling you the 1,400 sites 3 times a day, that was a documentation that we used to show that we were in compliance. Now, another company where we started to sell our software, like where it could be installed on-prem, the clients wanted to see our test cases, our validation. So the same way we had to print out not print, but We had to generate a report that had the test cases and the test run execution status to show that at the releases, we actually ran the test cases that we had. And then we had different folders for these test cases are for this feature implementation, and these test cases are part of the regression. But that's what we did. I'd say like many times test cases has saved us. So I think you're putting yourself in a very dangerous spot and putting your company in a very dangerous spot. And you're doing a disservice to any new person that joins the team. Whether the development team, your agile team, your scrum team agree to it or not, it's bad practice. Very bad practice. I couldn't imagine as any level of QA, right? If I'm working on a particular software, on a new feature, I have to document what's going on. How does it work? I don't know. This is wild to me. See, and this is the reason, right? This is the reason that for so many, like for so long, for so many people, right? QA would get a bad name because we have one person talking about a low stress job, have another one talking about not wanting to write test cases. At least when I was looking for a low stress job, they knew they had to write test cases, but you've been doing this for 13 years. And after 11 years, you don't want to document your test cases? And because the developers and product owner and scrum masters, they don't really do QA, they don't know any better. So when you tell them, oh, I'm going to do this, they're like, okay. But why didn't you tell your manager that? Why didn't you tell your director that? Why didn't you tell the CTO that you're not going to document test cases? I think you're being sneaky. You were being sneaky. What a shame. And this is what gives us a bad rap. This is what gives us a bad rap. If I had a QA, not sure the word I'm looking for, but you'd be kicked out. You'd be excommunicated. Not writing test cases. That'll be like the first bylaw. I will write test cases, and you'd get the boot because you're doing such a disservice to your company, to your teammates. What if you're out and they need to be able to see the test cases that you've worked on and do some executions, right? Let's say something happens to you. You get sick for a week or a month. You don't care about your company. That's what that tells me. You're looking for the easy way out. So, well, it is what it is. My barbarians will come and take your job. All right. We are moving on to the next one. Before we do that, we have Sheena Campbell in the chat. Let's move this down over here. And welcome to the channel, by the way. Sheena says, writing test cases is at the top of every QA job description. And what about those QA job descriptions that say that, like a QA lead job description or a senior QA or whatever the case may be? That's like Yeah, every single QA job is writing test cases. Crazy. Crazy. Thanks for being here, Gina. I appreciate your comment. I appreciate you in the chat.
I appreciate you.
All right. Let's get to our next question.
Another one.
All right. So if you want to level up your career in tech, check out the Patreon, see what's in there. So much content. And depending on the tier that you are, you get one-on-one coaching calls with yours truly, Tech Coach Ralph. But even at the $10 tier, even at the lowest tier, right? So much content. So check it out. I have me updating my resume in there, and you can follow along. You can. I'm gonna make that resume of. I think actually do have it available where you can click the link, make a copy of it, update it for yourself. Right? It's a massive resume. It's a massive resume, right? But it's for you, right? It's for you. Okay. So, and of course, subscribe to the channel, like the video, share it, all that good stuff, right? So let's move on. All right. This topic is how much and for what purposes do you use AWS while testing? All right. It says, I'm on a project that requires me to work with AWS services for integrating automated testing into CI/CD pipeline using S3 buckets, Lambda functions, etc. So I'm curious, how often do you work with AWS or other cloud services as QAs or SDETs, and for what? All right. Oh my God. I love this question. To give this one 25 minutes. So I use AWS. Well, when I say I use AWS, my company used AWS for their whole testing. Oh, they use AWS for everything, right? But as regards to testing, right? We use AWS for just about everything. So we have our CI/CD software running on AWS. We have our Selenium grid running on AWS. So the grid nodes would be on like an EC2 instance, like common. And then we would have a hub on AWS where the nodes would connect to. If you're not familiar with Selenium grid, you have a hub where all of the different computers or servers would connect to it. And now when you say to execute your tests, it's going to distribute it based on the availability of the different nodes, different computers, right? So each node, each server, each computer that's going to be able to execute the tests, that would be a Amazon EC2 instance, right? Then we have our whole CI/CD software that is also on like AWS, and then we have our like the actual agents that would be receiving like the builds and everything like that do the work, right? That like after the developers do their thing, they push up their changes and all that good stuff. Then we have the actual like build agents, right? Those are going to do their work. So that's also part. That part is not specifically part of QA, but it's part of the DevOps, the CI/CD pipeline, which QA does fall within the CI/CD pipeline. However, other things that I do with it, right? So I use the AWS ECR for one of our tests that we need to do. We are like it uses a Docker image, right? So and that's a project that I worked on just like maybe 2 months ago, where instead of having the image be built every single time we run the test, we we only build the image when there's a change to a particular file, to the Docker file, that is, right? And when that file is changed, then we'll rebuild the image and then we'll push it up to the ECR. But when that image is not, when the Docker file is not changed, it just pulls the image down, allows us to run our tests even faster, right? So what else would I use? We use AWS for, right? So we have certain tests that we run. We would stage the data for the test in like on S3, right? So we'll go to the S3 and say, all right, run the test using this test data here, and it'll go from there, right? Let's see, what other services do we use? So mentioning Lambdas, we don't use the Lambda for our testing pipeline, but we use lambdas in our software, right? So in the software that we build, there's lambdas. So we had to, or I had to actually test the lambdas out to make sure that they were doing what they're supposed to do. They were working at the correct speed, all that good stuff, right? What other AWS do I use for QA? For QA, what other AWS? So I would say as I'm diving into the realm of DevOps and stuff like that, I'm not familiar with how they test for that, right? And if there is QA for DevOps, right, then I'm pretty sure that going to get into a lot more testing protocols and how to and using like whatever cloud platform. Since we're talking about AWS in this instance, but I've dabbled with Google Cloud Platform as well. Azure, not so much, but that's on the list, right? What other services? Because outside of because I'm answering for QA in particular, right? Because for instance, I've set up Docker on AWS. I have a video for that, right? Set up Docker on AWS, and then I got one actually, right? So for reporting for QA, like so when you make reports on the bugs and stuff like that, or the test runs, all that, right? I've set up Report Portal on an EC2 instance, right? So I have a video for that too, but I installed Docker on an AWS EC2 instance, and then I used Docker to install Report Portal on that instance, and then I can send the results of the automated tests to that, right? For doing my like when I'm helping people entering the QA field to build some type of QA portfolio, I had them go on AWS. Well, actually, I had them do it locally, right? But you can do it on AWS where you can actually showcase your portfolio. Where they installed an open source test case management system called Kiwi, and they created some test cases in there, did some test executions, reported some defects, right? So I like that would be an instance that you could use AWS if you wanted to install an open source test case management system, right? But even if you're not doing it to track your test cases, you can use that to build your portfolio, where you can showcase that you do have some understanding of how the AWS platform works, and you know how a test case management system works, and that you've installed one as well. So many options. Oh, I've used the security groups as well. I've used some other, like I said, I use a lot of their features, but not all of them are related to QA. So I'm going to keep it related to QA. All right. So hopefully that helps anyone out there knowing how you could use the cloud platforms to facilitate your testing needs. All right. And if anyone's out there who uses AWS, by all means, leave a comment on the video, put a message in the chat, whatever the case may be. All right, because I like to know how you guys work as well. And Chino, if you're there, are you in QA? If so, what position in QA that you're in? I'm just curious to know, because I love talking to people who are in QA, who are trying to get into QA, whatever the case may be. I love talking QA, all right? I love talking tech. But anyways, I'm rambling. All right, cool. Let's get to our next one. All right.
Another one.
All right, so check the Patreon, subscribe to the channel, like the video, share the video, all that good stuff, all right? So this topic is how to get experience in testing, okay? I seriously don't get where and how I'm supposed to start when every job requires you to have 1 to 2 years of experience beforehand, or at least already know how to use SQL or Jira. Sure, I could access Jira myself, but what am I supposed to test what am I supposed to test there without jobs or tasks? This industry's hiring process is broken. and there are big logic holes. Looking for advice. Oh, okay. So I guess the person from like question number 2 or 3 had a follow up, right? So I can't give this answer. See, which one of my barbarians are here, but they're probably studying and preparing for interviews right now, right? But believe me when I say this, they are getting experience. I am the experienced magician. I wish Stephanie was here to tell you. I am the experienced magician. What? All right, we got it. Let's make that bigger. I'm gonna put this one right next to me right here. Shout out to you.
We the best.
I mean, all we do is win, man. You know that.
That is awesome. All right, Chino, we're gonna talk some more later. I am a senior QA engineer, and yeah, I think we can learn from each other. So I will be reaching out to you because that is awesome. I love connecting with my peers. Test engineer lead. That's awesome. That is awesome. All right. Getting distracted. I got excited. Back to the show. Okay, so how do you get experience? Right? There's ways to get experience. But for me to get, I'm gonna give you a little bit, right? But I can't give you too much because that would be unfair to my barbarians, right? So I don't even know how much I can say here, right? I don't know why I picked this question because I shouldn't be saying this. But all right, I'm gonna give you this, right? So every job requires you to have 1 to 2 years of experience. Okay. You can get SQL. You can get SQL knowledge by like studying and stuff like that. However, all right. I hope Stephanie's not listening right now, but I'm gonna give out this strategy that I gave her the other day, right? So I said use Docker to install my SQL and then load a database in there, right? And then connect to that database and do like different queries, load a database in there, create a schema, like start validating that schema, all that good stuff, right? And then write some automation tests surrounding it. Now you have skills to add to your resume, but how do you organize your studying? How do you organize your learning? See, now I'm sure Sheena's going to agree with this because I think we're on the same page here, right? When I interview when I interview people, right, and I'm asking questions and stuff like that, but one thing that I'm definitely looking for is the adaptation, the critical thinking, how they adjust, how they react, right? Because you can be so creative in how you build experience, how you work, and that's what I do with my crew, right? I say we're gonna work this way. We're gonna work together. We're gonna work on a team. We're gonna work this way, and we're going to this is your job. And I give them I give them a valid way to have it on the top of their resume with experience. So now as they're building up their expertise in their respective fields, I also have them building experience, valid experience. Because if you have the experience, right? Because there's type of people, right? They'll lie on their resume. I've seen people say, "Oh, just lie on your resume," right? But if I see a resume and you're lying on it, I'm going to I can smell it. I can smell the lie. And I'm going to ask you questions, and then you're going to start looking around and, not know how to answer. And maybe you're nervous, but if I suspect that you're lying, then I'm like, all right, cool. Right. But I've never had someone lie on their resume. And by lying, I mean they can't justify their talking point on their resume. And they're going to be so sharp. They're so sharp. I'll tell you, like, probably spending like 2 hours right now in interview preparation. I have a pipeline going, right? Everybody's at a different stage. But I promise you this, when David's ready to start applying, he's gonna get an interview. Like when he's actually starting to apply, it's not gonna take that much time for him to start getting interview requests, right? And I wouldn't be surprised if he had his first interview, he gets an offer. But he's also gonna have multiple offers. Because he joined my team and he was like, I want your creativity. I want your 15 years of experience in QA. I want your 20 years of experience in tech. Right? So you're asking a very valid question, right? I've seen tons and tons of people who have the same exact problem. And it gets even worse, right? Because here's what happens, right? So you go to a boot camp, you get promised that you're going to get all this money doing manual testing or double that if you do automated testing, right? Automation. But the problem is you don't have any experience, and then the boot camp does your resume, and they put like the only experience they put is like 3 months of experience doing some internship. Now, you go to apply for a job, like you're applying for countless jobs, and no one is responding to you because you don't have the experience. You're 3 months at an internship, it doesn't really qualify as experience. Because if I give you a technical project to do, you're going to your code is not going to be up to par, right? Maybe for a very junior level, because to be honest, a lot of companies now they expect, like, even if you're at an entry level, they still expect some form of automation, right? They still expect some form of automation. But along with that, right? So along with me helping you build experience, I have my man Don. He's probably creating some new challenges right now. Like he just keeps producing them. And when Barbarian Nights comes around, we're going to have these QA coding challenges to test your mind, to test your creativity, to test your critical thinking skills. And maybe you can get a Chaos Camp stamp of approval. Verified. How you navigate through the chaos. All right, I can't talk. All right, Don told me I can't talk about that anymore, so cutting it off. But there are tons and tons of ways to be creative, to build experience. And trust me, it works. But you can't just sit. You can't just sit and like complain about it big logic holes. The hiring process is broken. Nope, it's not broken. See, the biggest problem that people make is they didn't have a plan, they didn't have a strategy, right? Because I'll tell you this from what I've seen, a lot of people get hired in QA when they are coming straight out of college doing computer science. And I know that computer science doesn't teach you any principles of software testing. They don't teach you how to do automation, all that stuff, right? But you do learn about software logic, you do learn about the code to some extent, right? They might not have, they might be very green in the QA practices in particular, but they have a good foundation. So now this college graduate is already getting the internships, right? They're getting the real internships. What do I mean by real internships? They're getting internships at companies who are looking for summer interns. And then a lot of them, now they have experience as an intern. The company, if they did a really good job at that company who gave them the internship, then they might get hired. They got the experience, as opposed to that internship at the boot camp, where a lot of times the internship is for the boot camp. So the people that you're paying to train you, they're also offering you the 3 months of boot camp experience, right? With a bad resume, not, So you need to strategize. And then a lot of times, here's what happens, right? And I'm almost done with this, right? But here's what happens. So now you get frustrated, and then you feel entitled to getting information for free. And we're like, all right, we can help you, right? We can help you get there. But you're like, no, it should be given to me. And we're like, well, then stay exactly where you are. All right? So be creative, or reach out to yours truly, Tech Coach Ralph, and we can get you on the path to success, right? We can get you on the path to success. All right? All right, let's see what Gina says. Although I'm a team lead, unfortunately, I haven't done hiring yet. Well, you have a long way to go. I wouldn't worry about it. And I'll tell you this, right? While I love doing interviews and stuff like that and talking to candidates, it is a very time-consuming and daunting task, especially if you have to go through. Because I primarily work on the technical part, the reviewing the project, and then if they pass the project, then I would talk to them. So that's a lot of code that you're trying to read through and decipher, and then you can be in different languages, and you're trying to you're trying to understand their thinking behind what they were doing at the time. So I think I love doing it, but trust me, it's daunting. But being a team lead, a test engineer, I think you're killing it. I'm gonna reach out to you, right? But I wouldn't worry about it. You plenty of time, all right? But yeah, great. I am so happy that you're here. I really appreciate you for being able to interact with you, because it's not every day that you run into people who do the same thing at the same level that you do. All right. Okay. I think we are up to our very last question for the night. Yeah, I'm sad too. But we will be back on Thursday, where we're going to go back to Selenium Wire, and we're going to figure out that pesky MySQL issue with JMeter. Hopefully I can just pass that on to Don and he'll take care of it. But because we all know that he loves He just adores J Meter. So much that he said, deuces, J Meter. All right. So let's get to it.
Another one.
So, like I've been saying, you see the Patreon link right there, right? Patreon.com/TechCoachRalph. The link is pinned to the top of the chat. Check it out. See what I have in there, right? Trust me. And whatever you ask me in there, I will make that content just for you. And if you want your resume reviewed, right? Because I'm going to put my all right. You know what? I'm gonna go back and let me say this, right? Every single, because I get a lot of QA resumes, right? Every single QA resume that I get says the same exact thing. Every single one says the same exact thing. I'm like, and then they say the stuff that it's like, it's not special about QA. I'm detail oriented. What you're supposed to be. I write test cases. What you're supposed to. I'm quality minded. Yeah, that's the position. Right? So what I'm going to do, I am going to put I have a, like, after I reviewed like my first 3 resumes, right? After I reviewed the first 3 resumes, I was like, I started seeing a trend. I'm just sending the same exact thing over and over and over again. Like I might take one out of here. So I said, you know what? I'm going to put in the Patreon the standard response of like, before you even send me your resume, make sure you do this, right? Make sure you do this. And then once you have that done, if you're like the lowest tier Patreon members, they can send me their resume and then I will give more feedback on that, right? And I'll help you strategize, like, you know, how to word something this way. And you have me updating my resume that you can use as well, right? And then for the higher tiers, I'll go one-on-one with you into your resume, getting that, right? The highest tier, like, you guys already know what you get. I'm not even gonna share here because space is limited for that, and I don't have that much time to make that one bigger. But like I was saying, you get one-on-one time where we interview prep, we update your resume together. You know what I mean? So with that being said, get your resumes right. All right. So this question: do you think? Says, do you all think LinkedIn is weird? Like, is it safe to tell the world where you work? All right. As a graduate student, I created a LinkedIn account last year as required by a public relations class assignment to show my professional brand. If not for that assignment, I would not have opened an account. I always thought it was weird because is it wise to keep everyone from knowing where I work? So with an account, I keep my employment history private where only connections can see it. But I need another job fast because I'm in a toxic work environment and I fear that I could lose my job at any day. But it's been hard to find another job, and all career experts recommend a completely public LinkedIn profile showcasing the perfect candidate to hire. However, is telling the world where you work safe? For example, when I start a new job, I plan on not listing it on my profile, or if I do, listing it for connections only because I fear someone from my current job contacting my new employer and sharing insufficient information with intentions of making my new job fire me. I get anxious and overthink, so my fears may be unnecessary. After all, nobody has ever told me a story of whether LinkedIn hurt them, but it could. Am I just being paranoid? And in and interfering with getting noticed on LinkedIn by having my work experience history private? So, so, um, all right. I've I'm gonna share this. All right. So I won't say the name, but I was talking to one of my mentees, right, and they were so like worried about what people would think about them, like if they say this, if they do that, and I had to like tell them, like straight up, I told them, look, you're only that important to yourself. Like for this person talking, right? Nobody at your last job really cares about you like that. If you leave, right? And if you get fired, you get fired. Like the ones who actually like you will reach out to you, and the ones who didn't really care for you, they won't. And like for me, right? Whether I left a job or somebody got fired or whatever the case may be, right? Whether I like them, like I don't really believe in or care for liking or not liking people. I have a job to do, right? And if you're working with me, then cool. And if you're not, then also cool. I'm very, very mission minded, right? I'm very mission minded. I don't get hung up on all that stuff, right? So
I mean, you know, all we do is win, man. You know that.
I'm gonna put it like this, right? I will always put myself in the best position to win, right? So keeping my resume updated, I let's put it like this. When when um when I was like reviewing resumes for the general public, right? When I was like, getting checking things out, understanding the landscape, right? I would get resumes that they were more secure than the documents found in Mar-a-Lago. I'm like, how am I supposed to review this CIA confidential document? Everything is redacted, right? How am I supposed to review this? Everything. You cannot figure out anything on these resumes. But then, so now let's transfer it to LinkedIn, right? Is it safe for people to know where you work? Who cares about you? Like, I mean, unless you have some type of stalker or a victim of some type of crime or something like that, totally understandable. Now, does that mean that you're going to easily get resumes? Probably. You're easily going to get interviews and notice and stuff? Probably not. But you probably don't want to either because of whatever prior situation that you're in, right? But if you're looking for a job and you really, really need a job, right? But you're not doing everything possible to get it. Someone that I was talking to on LinkedIn, right? Met them in this other group and I reached out to them. They were trying to get in QA and everything like that. And I was impressed. And I had to tell them like this is impressive because what they did was they made a video, put themselves out there. They made a video showing how they organize their day, how they plan their day while they're looking for a job, right? Needless to say, a week later, they got hired for a position because they didn't mind putting themselves out there. On LinkedIn, recruiters reach out to me every single day on LinkedIn, asking me, "Hey, are you interested in this position? Are you interested in that position? I have this contract here. I have this there. But I've seen some link, and I had to get on one of my mentees because of this, right? Because their LinkedIn was just horrendous. They didn't want to put details about what they did. They just put and with grace to them, somebody gave them that bad advice, right? The same way that people get bad advice on their resume, somebody gave them this bad advice, and I'm like, no, you can't do that. Like, you need to be descriptive about what you did and where you did it and when you did it on LinkedIn, because every single opportunity you have to make yourself available to it, right? So now imagine one of the people that I'm working with, right? They don't want to put their information on LinkedIn, and I get hit up for a position, and I'm like, I can't take no position. I'm already working at a company that I really enjoy working at. And I'm doing the coaching, I'm doing the YouTube, all that good stuff, right? But one of my people, that person needs a position, right? So then I forward you to that person, and they click on your profile, and it's just crap. And now they don't contact you because they don't know anything about you. While on mine, I have documented everything that I did, all my skills, where I did them, when I did them, why I did them, all of that, right? Why do you think they contact me and they don't contact you? If you know where I work, so what? I don't do anything that's going to compromise it. I'm actually providing content that to help. So if you think that somebody from your previous job is going to contact your new job, one, that's illegal. But if they do, right? Are you part of the toxicity? Happy Natasha didn't see that one. But yeah, are you toxic? Let's just keep it to two syllables, right? Are you toxic? Like, I've never feared that someone from my old job would contact somebody from my new job. Why would you have that fear? What is going on over there? LinkedIn is your online resume in a network where people can see. So the same way, like when I say like these people will be posting these toxic posts on LinkedIn, and then they wonder why are they not getting contacted for jobs? Well, you're not going to get contacted on LinkedIn for jobs if you're posting toxic stuff on LinkedIn about the people who you want to hire you. It doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense. So I'll finish with this, right? My last two jobs that I got, the last two positions that I landed, both senior QA engineers, right? Recruiters reached out to me on LinkedIn. I didn't reach out to them. They reached out to me. And they said, "Oh, we checked your profile. We see it looks like you are a match for our company, our position. Would you be interested in talking?" So while you have everything about yourself private to your connections, why do your connections even care? Like, you're already connected. Why do they care? What benefit is it to them of your work history if they're your connections? They're not hiring managers. They're not recruiters, anything like that. So your LinkedIn is essentially useless. Yeah. See, and this is what I mean, how people shoot themselves in the foot, how they sabotage their opportunities. You want something, but you want it on your terms. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. But yeah, to finish the story, recruiters contacted me. They asked for my resume, and then we spoke, went through the whole process, and boom, hired. Was I afraid of my previous company contacting them? No, because you know why? Because I was awesome at my last company. I was awesome at every single company that I've been at. Awesome plus awesome plus awesome plus awesome equals amazing. Like I tell you guys, the goal is to provide value in everything that you do. And then you don't have to worry about somebody saying something negative about you from a previous company. You can go back to every single company that I've ever worked for. There won't be anybody that says anything negative. Well, maybe that one person. Nope, they won't. But I put myself in a position to win at all times.
I mean, you know, all we do is win, man. You know that.
So that's that. All right. Keep it private if you want. Think that it's weird? Nope. I think it's amazing. Back then, I wasn't really crazy about LinkedIn, but once I started making it more active and updating, I don't even like posting stuff like that on there. Just continue to update my my profile when I need to, my history, and then it works for itself. All right. What? But that is our show for tonight. All right. So
We the best.
all right. So that being said, we are at the end of our show tonight. I appreciate every single last one of you for being here. I appreciate Gina for joining me in the chat. It was great to talk to you and to learn a little bit more about you. And we'll talk, and maybe we can collaborate on some stuff. I already have some other people that I'm collaborating with, and while I'm helping like people trying to get into the field, I think that there is a great opportunity for those who have like a good amount of experience to also do some really cool stuff as well. So we'll talk about that. And because a lot of times we are very introverted, and even me, I'm very introverted, but here I am. And you guys want to stay behind the scenes, I am more than willing to take the QA torch for our crew. All right. So we're going to talk about it, right? But we're going to end the show. Check out the Patreon. Like I said, I can't stress it enough how valuable it is to, trust me, it's cheaper than anything that you're ever going to do, because the amount of value that you're going to get out of it, check it out. But we're going to end. Subscribe to the channel, leave me a comment, like the video, share the video, all that good stuff. You guys already know what to do. I don't even have to ask. Just do it. And we're going to have some fun. We're going off to the moon. All right. So it is what it is. All right. But on that note, my dear friends and family, I shall see you next time. This is Tech Coach Ralph signing off for the night.
You might think that getting into the IT field is impossible without a computer science degree, but Tech Coach Ralph is here to prove you wrong. Get ready for some jaw-dropping revelations on how to break into this lucrative industry. Listen up, tech enthusiasts. Are you ready to break through into the IT field, but feel like you need a computer science degree to make it happen? Think again. Tech Coach Ralph has some exclusive, mind-blowing secrets to share with you. Get ready to be blown away by his jaw-dropping revelations on how to break into the tech industry without a computer science degree. So get your notepad ready, because Tech Coach Ralph is going to change your life forever. Buckle up, because you're about to embark on a journey to success in the IT field.
Hear me, warriors of the North. Today we have tasted the sweet nectar of victory. Our foes may defeated, and their lands are now bow before us. The gods themselves have favored our glorious deeds on this glorious day. We have shed blood, sweat, and tears to claim this land. Our relentless spirit, our unyielding determination, these are the very essence of our people. The spirit of our ancestors rejoice in the halls of Valhalla. For today, we have added to their eternal glory. Our victories will echo throughout the ages, and our names will be etched in the annals of history. But let us not forget the present pain the brothers and sisters we lost. They now feast in the hall of our forefathers, watching over us with pride. Their sacrifice has paved the way for this moment of triumph. As we celebrate this conquest, let us also remember that our journey is far from over. More land awaits our conquest, more battles upon us forth, and the fire in our hearts burn ever brighter, for there is no limit to what we can achieve. To those who dare stand against us, let them tremble in fear, for they shall witness the fury of the northern storm, the wrath of the untamed barbarians. Today we celebrate our victory. Tomorrow, we set our sights on new horizons, uncharted land where our banners will fly high. We are Vikings, we're barbarians, we are masters of conquest.
I mean, you know, all we do is win, man. You know that.
We the best.
I appreciate you.